Sakuna, the king of curses, the strongest sorcerer in history. A beast that solely lives to satisfy his own desires. He is what the kids would call a monster. Monsters, often these big, grotesque creatures with deranged sense of thinking. They don't fit the norm of society. These demons are mainstays in media, especially manga and anime. They are often portrayed as something that cares little for others and lives with the sole purpose to destroy. They are repeatedly used as final antagonists in their stories. There are plenty of ways that authors come up with to defeat them. Some good, some not so good. A divine artifact, a really big punch, or the good old power of friendship.
Believe it.
Regardless of the method, for these stories to end, these behemoths needs to be put down. Sukuna is just the current monster on the cutting board. This is how JJK destroyed its monster. To destroy, you must first build. So what makes a monster? Ugliness. What is oh god, that's hideous! Ugliness displays characteristics that are not viewed as normal. It's something that has strayed so far from conventional thinking. Mangakas often apply this ugliness to the physical. Imagine a picture of Frankenstein's monster. No, not the lolly, this one. Now, looking at the grotesque epitome of Jujutsu, Sukuna, in order to gain more power and mastery, transformed his body into this grotesque agglomeration, adding 2 arms for hand signs, 2 mouths for chants, 2 eyes for that 20/20/20 vision, and a protected layer of flesh on the right side of his face just to guard the brain, becoming a physical monster that had no rivals. The ugliness can also be applied to the mental, like that cute blonde with the horrible This implies having a warped sense of thinking. Sukuna views everyone as rats, peons, low-level, no-bag, uncultured swines, who are there to dance around and die. Simply put, you're just entertainment to him. If you interest him enough, he'll play around with you, but ultimately you'll suffer the same fate as everyone else, being a fish on his cutting board. And if you don't interest him, he'll just torment you till your dying breath, causing immense trauma. Sukuna, in every sense of the word, is ugly. Destruction. A monster destroys while showing care or compassion. They're like forces of nature, appearing with little to no warning and destroying without reason, until it's finally had its filling. Think of Jonah Liebert from Monster. Sukuna is also described as such a thing. He has reached the utmost level of aggression and selfishness, that the world doesn't view him as human anymore. With straying so far away from humanity, he's not a person but a calamity, something that relishes in the moments of his own destruction. History. Most monsters are legends lost to time. There are someone or something that appeared in the past that caused enough havoc and destruction that they were feared by many, worshipped by a few, and remembered by all, for centuries long after. However, due to the passages of time, these anomalies are thought to have been lost. But what makes them monsters is that somehow, maybe by fate or by pure luck, the horror forces itself to the modern era. Characters like Madara fit this mode. Sukuna having destroyed everything in his time, defeating the memed 5 Void Generals, the Darkness Purification Force, the Sun Progression Moon and Stars.
Who are those guys?
After all of that, he turned himself into a cursed object, just for the chance to reawaken into the new era, in order to restart his campaign of destruction. One error wasn't enough. Lastly, they gotta have aura. Hear me out, no one is scared of an auraless beast. A monster has to be so ruthless that the simple mention of their name can send chills down someone else's spine. Look at what Sukuna did to Uru. Had that girl wet. You know what I mean?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Anyways, these are what we're dealing with. These are the makings of a monster. Now that we built these monsters up, how do we tear them down? How do we destroy something we built for so long? If these are unconventional beings, then we have to beat them unconventionally. Going back to Naruto, it took a whole war with thousands of ninjas and 2 demigods just to challenge and defeat Madara and ultimately Kaguya. In Demon Slayer, slight spoilers, it took all remaining Hashiros with boosted stats and Tanjiro to hold Muzan just till sunrise. So the sauce to defeating these monsters is to jump them, and JJK took that to heart. For Sukuna, the king, it took the efforts of the world's strongest sorcerers and enough contingencies that would make Batman proud to put an end to this monster. We started with the rich boy get your paper up shout out to Rapso Petty Satoru Gojo, the strongest sorcerer in the modern era. And after an epic back and forth where at one moment the audience may have thought Gojo had won, he actually got... yeah, we don't talk about it. But then came Kashimo, the Thunder God himself. He got diced up after a single chapter. And now, in the true spirit of Jujutsu Kaisen, everyone stepped in. We had Yuji and Higurama using the Executioner sword. Then Yuta jumped in with his copy ability and domain. Then Maki sneak dissing with the soul splitting katana. Then insert Ino, Chozo, and Kusakabe trying to apply relief. Even after all those bodies, Sukuna just keeps coming.
Pause.
We had characters we haven't seen in over 200 chapters come back and squabble. Todo with his upgraded Boogie Woogie, the foreign dudes, Miguel and Leroy with their strange abilities. And still, Sukuna wasn't phased. He was actually enjoying every minute of dealing with these pesky flies, all the while having the support characters using their various abilities to extend the battle. Like Ui and Kira teleporting the injured so they can be healed by Soko, or Inu using his curse technique in form of a tape recorder, or the plethora of simple domains being cast. But even after all that interjection, this beast still didn't go down. It's not until the characters that we thought either died or had lost the will to fight came back and entered the battle. With Nobara and Megami abilities halting Sukuna just for the slight moment, it gave Yuji the chance to hit him with one final soul-splitting punch, finally ending this monster terror. If all that sounded long and convoluting, well, it was. Throughout this final battle, Sukuna was hit with so many different techniques as well as ideologies. Nothing physical or spiritual could stop him. You can't beat a monster the regular way. Everything needs to be thrown out the window and some unexpected shit need to happen just to have a sliver of a chance. Getting jumped the Jujutsu Kaisen way is a testament to this monster. So what happens after we destroy them? In cases like these, the monster don't really die the same way they lived. Their last memories aren't filled with rage and destruction, but a resentful peace and calmness. As an example, when Mara went down, his final words expressed the folly of the path that he went down, and he realizes that there was another choice. In the same breath, Sukuna also recognizes that there was another path for him to take. He previously thought that the choices he made were the only one that the world offered. But due to his defeat, he realizes that he didn't need to take the path of an overwhelming force of destruction. That there was another, peaceful, calmer path to walk down, one that was hidden from him. And if he had another chance, he would take the other path instead. Sukuna's defeat was a physical one. He lost the battle between Yuji and company, ultimately being jumped and punched into submission. But he was destroyed spiritually when Yuji showed him that there was another way of living, one that Sukuna himself didn't think was possible. Like the defeated monster before him, Sukuna, along with Urame, goes north, walking into the void.